it's Dave with Flipperforce House Flipping Software. I've got our platform open here that you can use to analyze deals, estimate renovation costs, and then once you get a property under contract, you can use our project management functionality to manage your project schedules, your tasks, track your expenses, and manage your budgets all in one platform. So what you're looking at here, this is the projects dashboard. This is just the area that you can use to add in new projects and manage all of the projects that you have in your company workspace. I've got some example projects plugged in here. I'll just kind of walk you through the overall process of analyzing a deal, estimating the renovation costs, and then managing your project. So you can see I've got this project in here. It automatically pulls in some basic property information from the Zillow data API. Once you add in a project, the very first step of the platform is really going to be to analyze the deal. So we've got a flip analyzer tool. This is really just a step-by-step house flipping calculator that can tell you the profitability that's in a deal and then also recommend a maximum purchase price that you should offer for the property. So first step, plug in your after repair value, so what you think you can resell the property for. Next step is going to be the purchase amount. So this is a known purchase amount. So if you've already got it under contract, you can just plug in what you've got it under contract for, or it's going to be an approximate purchase price of what you think you might be able to get the property under contract for. So I've got $100,000 plugged in on this property. The next step is going to be the repair costs. So we've got a couple different options for you. You've got some quick options as well as detailed options. So the quick options basically allow you to quickly plug in a lump sum amount. So I guess, for example, if you've got some experience under your belt and you, based upon your experience, think that it might cost $50,000 to rehab the property, you could just quickly plug in $50,000 and then move on to the next step. Or if you like to estimate cost by $1 per square foot, maybe on your rehabs, based upon your experience and cost history, you're at about $30 a square foot. $30 multiplied by the square footage on the property, that would give you a budget of $93,000. And then finally, we got a detailed option that's going to automatically feed over the repair costs from your repair estimator. So I'll show that to you here in a bit. But basically, you can put together a detailed estimate over there on the repair estimator, and then that will feed into the detailed option here that you can pull into your analysis. So I'm just going to use the dollar per square foot option here. So now you can see we've got $93,000 plugged into our calculation for the repair costs. Next is going to be your fixed costs, so your buying costs, holding costs, and selling costs. Again, we've kind of got that same setup, lump sum. You can do a percentage of purchase price, which is another way that you can quickly calculate the buying costs. It seems like they're generally between 1 to maybe 3 or 4% of the overall purchase amount. So you can see we've quickly plugged in $2,000 by just plugging in 2%. As far as holding costs, you can do this the same thing. You've got a lump sum dollar per month, or you can do a detailed breakdown. So we've got 5 months as our total holding timeline. So if we think we can rehab the property in 2 to 3 months, and then it might take about 1 to 2 months to sell, we've got a total holding time of 5 months. Then you can plug in your monthly costs here, or you can just do a quick option here, $750 per month times 5 months equals $3,700 in holding costs. So the final one is selling costs. Again, you can do a lump sum percent of the resale value. So selling costs are going to generally be probably between 7 to 9% of the resale amount if you are using an agent to sell the property, or you can, again, do a detailed breakdown of all of those costs that'll go into selling your property. So that's the fixed cost section. Once you go through that, you're going to come to the financing section. If you're an all cash investor, you can just basically skip this step. Or if you are going to be using an outside hard money loan, private money loan to fund your project, you can set up your different loan amounts here. So if you're getting a loan for the purchase and repairs, you can use that toggle button to automatically pull that loan value in here. Percentage of the ARV, maybe you're getting a loan at 70% of the ARV. 6 months worth of payments at 12% interest, 2 to 3 points up front. So that's how you can set up your loan costs there. And then finally, you're going to want to tell the calculator what your desired profit is in the deal. So right now, the profit in this deal is being calculated at $60,000. So based upon an after repair value of $300,000, subtracting out all your purchase costs, your repair costs, your buying costs, holding costs, selling costs, and then those financing costs, you should be able to make about $60,000 if you purchase it for $100,000. If you want to tell the calculator, how much profit you want to make on the deal. So sometimes flippers want to make 15% of the ARV, which is in this scenario only $45,000. It's going to tell you a recommended maximum purchase price based upon the profitability that you want to make on the deal. So once you go through that process, basically, here's the results page. It's going to tell you based upon that purchase price of $100,000, you're going to make $60,000. But if you only want to make $45,000, you could offer up to $115,000 for the property. So there's really two calculations that the calculator runs. It calculates the profitability based upon a known purchase price, and then it recommends a purchase price based upon how much profit you want to actually make in the deal. So that's a quick overview of that process. All of this data and information goes out to an investment packet, which you can use to build out a nice financial summary for the project that you can give to your business partners and lenders. So you can pick and choose which pages you want to present in this report, and then you can print it to a PDF and share it with your business partners and lenders here. So that's a quick overview of that analysis process. Let's show you the Repair Estimator tool real quick, which can be used to create a detailed scope of work and detailed estimate for your project. So I skipped a step here. I already loaded in our Rehab estimate template. We do have some other options here for new construction template. We've got a rehab by room, room by room, and then you can also save your own custom templates there in the Repair Estimator. So that's if you have your own estimates and your own cost history, you can save that as a template that you can automatically load into the estimator every time you start a new project. So we provide these templates for you. So we've got those 3 starter templates, and each of those starter templates come pre-built with a bunch of different categories, common categories that you'd have on a typical rehab or flip. And then you can see under roofing, we've got a bunch of common repairs for roofing, and then unit prices here. So basically what you're going to do is, as you walk through the property, you're going to put together a list of all of the repairs that need to happen, and then you're going to quantify those repairs. So as you're walking around the perimeter of the house, you're measuring the roof. Maybe you measure that there's going to be 20 squares of roofing, 20 squares of roofing times $265 as your budget is equal to a $5,300 budget for roofing. Then you're going to go around the perimeter of the house and you're going to maybe count the windows. So if you need to replace all the windows on the property, if there's 11 windows times, and those are just small single windows there, 11 windows times $225 a window. You're going to have to remove the windows as well. So you can see you've got around $2,700 in budgeted for the windows. So you're just going to go through and continue to create a scope of works, new steel entry doors. Maybe you're installing a French patio door on the back of the house. You're going to need new door hardware on all 3 of those doors. You're just going to continue to go through and put together a budget and quantify all of the repairs on the property. Once you get into the interior of the property, this is where you can, do all the kitchens and bathrooms, cabinetry and finishes, stuff like that. So you'll estimate how long it's going to take to demolish the property. So we've got a couple guys in there for a few days to go in there and tear everything out in the property. We'll also need a dumpster. So you can see, you can really get as detailed as you want. Or we've also got options to kind of quickly estimate stuff. So you can plug in a new average grade kitchen, which is about maybe $12,000. It really kind of depends on the level of finishes that you're doing or how big the kitchen is. But on average, we've got about $12,000 there for a kitchen. Same thing with bathrooms. If you're doing some bathroom remodels, you can quickly plug in just a packaged bathroom remodel option. Again, if you're doing a large master bath, it's probably going to be more expensive than just a regular hall bathroom or a full bathroom that you might have. So we've got those plugged in now. And then you can just go through interior doors. Maybe we're going to be replacing the interior doors, all new door hardware in the property. So hopefully you're getting a good idea of how this process works. We're just going to go through, quantify everything that needs to happen on the property, put a quantity to it, and then use the pricing that we have to create a budget. And then obviously you can adjust those prices as needed to fit your local market and specific materials that you're using on your project. And then you can add in contingency here. So if you want to add contingency to the overall budget, you can do that here. If you're going to be hiring a general contractor, they're going to want to charge you for overhead and profit to manage the deal. So maybe they're going to charge another 15% on top of that. Labor and material tax. Material tax is going to be what you're paying at the Home Depot or Lowe's where you're buying that material. So whatever that local sales tax is. So that's where you can plug in all that other stuff. So basically all this information feeds to different reports. We've got the estimate report and scope of work report. One other thing I'll touch base on real quick is you've got these scope of work notes. So these scope of work notes are pre-built into this template. So you can see demolition has some scope of work notes here that come with the demolition category. It's basically telling the demolition contractor that you need to include all of the labor to tear out the cabinets, flooring, and fixtures per the demolition plans and local building codes, do all this other stuff, take all the stuff out to the dumpster, remove all the debris, clean up, sweep, and prep the site for new construction activities that are going to be taking place after you get done doing the demolition. So pretty detailed scope of work notes here that again come pre-built in with this template. And what that does is it actually feeds over to a scope of work builder, and that scope of work builder can be used to generate a scope of work for your contractors that you're going to be hiring for your projects, and it's going to tell them exactly what they need to include in their bid. So on this project, we're just going to go through and tabulate the ones that we actually want to be included in our scope of work here. Okay, and then all of those scope of work notes that we had over there on the estimate are going to come over here to the scope of work report that you can give to your contractor to tell them exactly what they need to include in their bid, and then they can provide an accurate bid proposal for you. So you can see we've got our roofing notes here. It's telling them the roofing contractor is responsible for all materials and installation, install it per local building codes, haul off all existing roof debris, final cleaning, stuff like that. So again, pretty detailed. You can go through and create a detailed scope of work, print it to a PDF, save it as a Word document, so that way you can give it to your contractors to receive bids on your project. Another nice report when you're putting together that detailed estimate for your project is the estimate report. So if your lender or your business partner wants to see a detailed list of everything that you've got included in your renovation estimate, you've got this estimate report here. So it's got a summary of all of your major categories and expenses that you've got included in the project. And then if they want to see a detailed list of every single item that's included in your estimate, you've got an estimate report, detailed estimate report here that shows all of that detail that they need to see for the scope of work. So that pretty much sums up the deal analysis tools. So the flip analyzer and the repair estimator, the tools that you're going to use to analyze a deal, create a scope of work up front to determine what you should offer for the property. Once you get a property under contract, you're really going to move on to the project management tools. So we've got different tools in here. We've got a task manager, we've got a project scheduler, and then a calendar. One of the main tools you're going to use is the project scheduler here. The project scheduler can be used to create Gantt schedules for your project, so that way you can create an overall timeline of when your contractors need to be on site doing whatever tasks they need to be doing. So it just kind of helps you plan out that entire renovation process. We have different templates in our system that you can use as a starter template. So you can see we've got a gut rehab starter template, cosmetic rehab starter template, and then a new construction template. You can basically load those in here. So you'll just basically pick the start date of when your overall schedule is going to start. So let's say we're going to start on the 17th of August. We're going to load that schedule template in there, and then it's going to load that detailed schedule to the project scheduler starting on August 17th. So you can see we've already got exterior painting, site cleanup, landscaping, all of that stuff's already scheduled. The dumpster, delivery, demolition, bathroom renovation, kitchen renovations, all of that kind of stuff is already scheduled. We've got, predetermined durations of what we think it would take to do some of this stuff on a typical rehab project. And then all of the dependencies are already pre-plugged in there as well. So that saves you a pretty substantial amount of time from creating your project schedules, because generally a schedule is probably going to take you about 30 minutes to an hour. So you can see you loaded that in there in a matter of seconds. And then if you do need to tweak anything, if you need to, change exterior painting and move that back or make it longer, you can do that. We've got auto scheduling in here. So if exterior painting does take a little bit longer than anticipated, it's going to automatically push back all of that stuff down line that depends on that being done beforehand. And then once you get done, you can save it as a template. So if you want to create your own custom schedule templates, you can do that. So that way you can reuse that on all of your future projects that you've got going on in your business. So that's the overall project scheduler. So that's going to be used to manage the overall major renovation tasks on your flip. And then you've got the task manager. So one of the things that you can do with the task manager is it's basically going to be used to track all of your daily tasks and to-dos. So you can see we've got a bunch of different task lists loaded in here. These task lists are template task lists that you can quickly load in here. So flipping houses is a very repeatable process. There's a general process of you're going to be submitting an offer, you're going to go out and inspect the property. Once you get it under contract, you're going to go through the inspection process. Then you're going to have contractors come out and give you bids, and then you're going to start planning the rehab. So you're going to start, putting together a detailed scope of work, putting together a plan in place, picking out your materials and stuff like that. Then you're going to be prepping to close and actually closing on the property. Then you're going to start demolition. Then you're going to start roughing. And then, once you get done with the project, you've got a specific group of tasks that you need to do to actually close out your project, and then list the property. Once you get a property under contract or somebody, makes an offer and you guys agree to it, the terms, you're going to have an offer accepted. And then once you go to sell the property, you're going to have specific tasks there. So again, these are all task lists that you can quickly load into the task manager every single time you start a new project. And then that way you've got an organized list of everything that needs to happen as far as daily tasks and to-dos throughout the entire process. So all of that data and information from both the task manager and the project scheduler, that feeds over to the project calendar. So I think it might be a little cluttered because I've got all of that stuff, plugged in here. But if you've got multiple projects going on all at once, it's going to feed over to your project calendar to show you all of your project schedules, all of your project tasks, all in one calendar view. So if you had multiple projects going on, you can see we've got the bat house and we've got the cat house here. You would be able to see everything that's going on all of your projects all in one calendar view. So this is the monthly view. You can see we've got a bunch of stuff going on the 28th, the 29th, everything that's going on the cat house. It's going to also feed in all of our project schedule information. So let's see here. I think we loaded that in September or August. So I think it starts in August 18th. So you can see we start exterior painting work, demolition, stuff like that. So you can see it's also scheduling out all of your schedule information. And then we have a list view here, which makes it a little bit easier to read. So you can see everything that's going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, for every single week that you've got going on. So it's just a way to keep you organized. The task manager, the project scheduler, making sure that you're staying on top of everything that needs to be done on your projects. As far as budgeting and tracking, so when you create an estimate and when you analyze your deal, all of that information feeds over to your project budgeter tool on the accounting side. So you can see we've got an analysis column which shows you the initial profit that you had in the deal. And then you've got a budgeted column where you can kind of go through and refine those numbers to adjust those numbers if you need to. So what you can do is you can go through and you can track all of your actual project expenses that you've got on the project and then compare that to your initial budget. So this is the expense tracker tool. This can be used to track your actual project expenses. So you can track it by your different bank accounts. You can track it by your vendors. So you can see how much you've paid to each individual vendor on the project. So you can see, I've paid ABC Rehab $10,000. I spent $8,000 at Home Depot, stuff like that. You can track it by all of your different categories: carpeting, flooring, exterior doors, stuff like that. So that way you can compare it to your initial budget that you had on the project. Once you get done with that, all of that stuff feeds over to your different accounting reports, so you can stay on top of your budgets, your expense reports. So we've got some different expense reports, so you can see how much you spent in a particular category here. So you can see all of our expenses to carpeting and cabinetry. You can also see, how much you've paid to each individual vendor. So on this particular project, we paid ABC Rehab, $78,000 and spent $9,000 at Home Depot. And then you've got a final profit statement. So once you really get everything plugged into the expense tracker and the income tracker, it's going to tell you what your gross profit is. We don't have all that data and information plugged in yet, so that's why it's not calculating correctly. But if you had all that plugged in correctly on the project budgeter and the expense tracker and income tracker, it would calculate your overall profit that you're going to make on the deal, that you can use to give to your accountant at tax time to show how much profit you made on the deal. So that is a quick overview of everything in the platform. Again, basically the general process is deal analysis is where you'll start. Analyze the deal using the flip analyzer. Use the repair estimator to put together a detailed estimate and scope of work for the property. Once you determine if the property is a good property to make an offer on, if you get it under contract, you'll move on to the project management tools to manage your tasks, your schedules, and your calendars, and then the accounting tools to track your overall project budget, compare your actuals to your budget, and then use that to calculate your final profitability on the project.
Wow, I have to say this is probably the most detailed, thought out software I have seen in the real estate industry. At what point in your career were you like, I'm sick and tired of spreadsheets, it's time for me to go build a software?
Well, yeah. So, I don't know if you knew that, but it did start as a spreadsheet. So that was my original product that I've been selling online for, probably about 7 years now. So I created a spreadsheet which had all of this functionality in there, in a spreadsheet format. And then I decided, it would probably be a lot easier to use in an actual web-based platform. So that's where we really took everything that I built in the house flipping spreadsheet and then converted it into a web platform. So
Right on. And how long has it taken you to kind of go from that transfer of Excel spreadsheet and building out this software?
Oh, it's taken a while. So it's been about two years. So I think we originally started going down that path in 2017, and then really didn't have an actual working prototype until early 2018. Just continued to work on it for the last 2 years. So we still got a lot of stuff to do. We've got a lot of stuff planned. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves on, is trying to be just as transparent as possible with our development process. So, we've got still a bunch of stuff that we've got planned as far as building. So this week we're actually going to be launching some pretty significant task management improvements, but then we've also got some cool new features that we're going to be launching as far as like BRRRR rental calculator, stuff like that. So providing a better solution for investors that buy distressed properties, rehab them, and then instead of flipping them and reselling them, renting them out long term. So that's kind of one of our next big updates that we're going to be working on here shortly, is bringing that new solution out there for those investors that are more of a landlord or long-term investor. So
Right on. Yeah, those are some awesome features that are to come for sure. How many investors have you converted so far from the nasty spreadsheets to your software?
Oh, we've got a few thousand people that have signed up for Flipper Force now. So
wow, congrats. That's huge. Well, awesome, man. Those are the questions I have. Is there anything else you can leave us with?
No, as far as, signing up, you you can sign up for our platform here and get a 30-day free trial. So the annual plans start at about $25 a month. And then if you've got a team of users, so that's where the small business and enterprise plans come into play. Those are for teams that have multiple users or a team of people that want to collaborate in the software. So that's where those plans come into play. But you're welcome to sign up. We offer a free 30-day free trial, and there's no credit card required. So there's really no risk. You can come sign up, start testing it out, playing with it, seeing if it's going to be a good solution for you. And then if you do feel like it's going to be a good solution for you, then that's when you can add that credit card when you're ready. So
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for your time. I really do appreciate it.
yep, no problem. Thanks for doing the video with me.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.